All right, a Michigan teacher was fired for saying vagina in a classroom. I don't think that can be any more blunt than that. Her name is Allison Wint, and she was a substitute teacher at Harper Creek Middle School for a day, and she was teaching an art class. And in the discussion of art, she showed a Georgia O'Keeffe painting and said the word vagina. She basically said, am I a pervert or does this look like a vagina? And that is a typical thing you talk about when you mention Georgia O'Keeffe paintings. And she wasn't talking about peepees and vaginas. And she wasn't giving necessarily a sex ed class, which you would need to get a permission slip for. The kids talked about it. She thought it was an engaging classroom discussion. But afterwards, she was fired by the principal who said this is not allowed. Haas, what do you think about this? Have you heard of vaginas before?
In this article, it was the first time I actually ever heard the word vagina, yeah.
Really?
So I had no experience with it. It's just crazy to me that, like, you know, statistically speaking, close to 50% of the population has a vagina.
More than 50%.
Yet it's a big no-no to discuss these sort of things, especially, I mean, when it comes to discussing George O'Keeffe, it's, I mean, like you said, you're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of her paintings look like vaginas.
So how do you avoid the subject? Do you just not talk about that at all?
Right.
Should we only be looking into, I don't know, like Rothkos or something? Because they for sure do not look like vaginas. They look like squares to me.
Yeah, but then again, you're going to bring up someone's box.
It's my dick in a box.
So Rothko vagina joke. Only here on Pop Trigger.
I
everyone.
know.
I would like to give a special shout out to Maya Christensen, who is a viewer. We talked about this on the main show second hour last night, and she tweeted, as a middle school student, I can confirm that boys are already drawing dicks all over their notebooks.
I couldn't touch the pen to a piece of paper without it drawing the shape of a penis.
So the idea that
you heard it here first.
that these children should be shielded from the concept of peepees and vaginas is ludicrous. I get, though, that like being afraid of the backlash against this from parents is what led the principal to do it. But then again, this teacher is a substitute. And it's very possible that the substitute just didn't know this rule and was like, you know, I feel like the substitute teacher is the kind of person who's like, I want to get into this to reach out and communicate with kids in a way that they'll remember. And
they'll remember, all right.
And they'll remember the Georgia O'Keeffe thing. And I think the way it got back was because one of the kids, the saddest idea is if the kids were excited about this and they were like, you know what, school was awesome today, Mom, because I got to talk about this painter, Georgia O'Keeffe. And that's where Mom goes, oh, shit.
Whoa.
And the reason she says, oh, shit, is because she knows the thing about Georgia O'Keeffe is vaginas. And then as a result of this kid being engaged in the class discussion and figuring that school is a place where we can talk about real stuff, then this teacher gets fired.
So I want to play devil's advocate for a second, and I'm probably going to be unsuccessful doing so, but I understand that parents might not necessarily be comfortable with the fact that you are discussing that very important, pivotal birds and the bees talk with a complete stranger.
Did I do vaginal juices last week? Oh, do pay attention, Wadsworth.
But this has nothing to do with that. This is just a physical, anatomical part of a human body, which I don't know if that's the word or not. I think I just made that up. Anatomical?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that?
It's anatomically correct.
Anyway, but like, I mean, why? Why do we still have these super puritanical ideas about the female anatomy? Mm-hmm. I don't understand it. I mean, or
I get
even
that
ours.
over time. I get that, like, there are things that, as a parent, I'm sure you don't want your kids to talk about early because you want to be in charge of that discussion.
Yeah.
And it's got to be pretty crappy if someone swoops in and says certain things to your kids before you're able to.
It's like telling kids that Santa Claus isn't real.
But then again, I was thinking about that, and I was like, how old are you watching today?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you don't want to say that because Santa Claus is real. And it's
100%.
it's not real.
Or in my country, but
But yeah, so that's one thing. I think that what's interesting about this discussion is that Georgia O'Keeffe painted flowers that look like vaginas to find a way to to kind of take the stigma off of vaginas and talk about it without talking about it.
And ironically led to someone who got fired because of the stigma.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other, also, maybe it is the fact that we put such a stigma on it that leads kids to go out and do things because they don't have anyone to talk to about it at any age until, sometimes it's too late. I don't know. It's good food for thought. What do you think? Have you seen Georgia O'Keeffe paintings before? Have you seen vaginas before? Because if not, Georgia O'Keeffe is a good starter image.
Don't lie about it either.
Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. Watch us on watchable.com, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.